In this video, I want to share with you the best backup tool for WordPress that I have found so far. Hey, it's Ozzy here from thecallmehoz.com, where I talk about the tools that I'm using to generate income online as a solopreneur. In this channel, I share tutorials as well as all the great tools that I keep finding. So if this can help you in any way, please subscribe and I'll keep you posted. Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about this great new backup solution that I've come across. It's not a new backup solution, but it is for me. And I've been using this and I'm super impressed. Now, the thing is, there are many backup plugins for WordPress and many of them are free. Many of them are well supported and very popular. But the problem is that they usually create a full site backup. And that's not the best way to back up WordPress. The best way to back up WordPress or any data source is by doing one full backup and then doing incremental backups. And that's exactly what this solution does. What it means is the first time you do a backup, it will create a full site backup. And that can take some time, obviously, depending on the size of your website. But from there on, every single day or whenever you want, it will create an incremental backup, which means that it will only back up the changes since the last backup. And typically, looking at my logs, some of my backups take seconds and the load on the server is 0, which is great because if you have anyone visiting your website or your blog, or you have many visitors, they're not going to see that lag caused by a big website being backed up, because the server resources, especially on a shared hosting server, can take a bit of a hit when there's a backup going on. Okay, so that's the problem that this solution addresses that many or most of the other plugins don't. And to give you a bit of context, for over a decade, I was creating and hosting websites for clients, so I was always on the lookout for a solid backup solution. And most hosts do provide a daily backup, of course, and I use those, but I never rely on any one host for my backups. And the reason is quite simple. If the server goes down, then your website goes down. And if your host is also taking care of your backups, those backups are typically hosted on the same server, which means that the server goes down, you lose access to your website and to the backups. And in a disaster recovery scenario, which I've endured, where I had to change host. If you change hosts, then you can set up your website, but you can't restore your backup because you have no access to it. So I always have an offline backup, and this solution does exactly that. So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough, and please don't skip it because there are some very cool features in this plugin which I missed to start with in the first 2 weeks, and I don't want you to miss any of those. So let's get to it. Okay, so the solution is WP Time Capsule, and this is a paid plugin, but it is actually very cheap, especially considering what it does, what it gives you. Okay, so in this solution, you have two things. You have the backup website, which you log into and you can access your dashboard, and you also have what you get the plugin that you install on your own blog. So in this video, I'll also log into my blog and show you exactly what I see. Okay, so this is the website. I'm going to log in there first. Now, I will say that when you log into this website, for some reason, the main login box is to create an account. And you have to go to this little link here at the very bottom, already have an account login here. And I really hate that. Many websites deal with this very well. For example, Dropbox and many other websites where you can log in or create an account all from the convenience of one box. So please fix this. Okay, so let's log in. Okay, so here we are in the dashboard, and you can see that so far I have added 2 websites. Now this area here is a table that contains all the domain names, and at the end of each row you'll see a cogwheel. If you click on the cogwheel, you see some options which include backup now. Now this is a very cool and handy feature because if you're about to do any work on your blog, you can quickly come here and just click on backup now. You can also change site URL, restore, which could come in very handy, and folder protection. To add a site, you have 2 options. You have bulk add sites and add new site. Now what I will recommend is that you take the 30-day trial, and that will enable you to test this solution and you can add up to 2 websites. So all you do there in that case is you click on add new site, add the URL, and click on add. Now, I don't recommend that you do it this way simply because it will throw up an error. The best thing to do is log into the website that you want to add and install the plugin first. So let me show you that. If I click on add, this is what happens. It goes to the website that you're trying to add and it doesn't find what it's looking for, which I think is a bit of an oversight by the developers. Anyway, let's stop complaining and let's go to the dashboard of the website that I'm trying to add. And what I'm going to do is search for the WP Time Capsule plugin, which I'm going to install and activate. Now inside the website where you install the plugin, you'll see this login box where you log into your account. So let me do that now. And that's me logged in. Now this shows my current plan, which is the freelancer plan. And here's the first cool thing that I want to show you about this plugin. And it's this. You can choose where to store the backup. So if I click the Dropbox, you can see that there are 4 options so far. I hope they add to these, but you have Wasabi, Amazon S3, Dropbox, or Google Drive. I'm using Dropbox at the moment for my backup storage. You'll see the button here to connect to Dropbox. So I'm going to click on that, and this will prompt me to log into Dropbox. Now you could use Google Drive, which gives you a lot of storage for free. So that would work perfectly well. Now here we are. I'm going to allow access to my Dropbox account. And now I get to set up the backup schedule and time zone. So I'm going to leave this as is. I'm going to leave it to daily. You have every 12 hours, every 6 hours, or real time. Okay, I'm not going to do it in real time, although if it's a very important website, you could set it to real time. And obviously after the first full backup is out of the way, all the real-time backups are going to happen incrementally. So as you're working on your website, then those changes will be backed up. Now that could create a little bit of a lag, so I'm just going to leave it as a daily backup. You have the advanced settings drop down here where you can encrypt the database if you want, and you can include or exclude folders from here. I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm going to save and continue. And you'll see that right now it's working on creating the first full backup. And you can track the progress of that here. As I say, it does take a few hours to complete. Remember that it's not backing up locally, it's backing up your website byte by byte and then shunting it across to your preferred backup storage, which in my case is Dropbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that. If I now refresh my dashboard in WP Time Capsule, you'll see that I now have 3 websites, and the new one that I've just added under backup status says waiting. So that's how you use the tool on this end. Now let me show you more cool stuff. Let's go inside my own blog, and you'll notice that on the left hand side navigation you have a WP Time Capsule section. If you click on that, the first screen you'll see are all your backups. If I click back, you'll see all the backups that I made over February when I was testing the tool. And when I say backups that I made, I mean backups that the tool made. I only set it up once and that's it, forgot about it. Now you'll see here that you have a restore point, and you can have multiple restore points in one day. If, for example, you're doing a lot of work on your blog, you can come here to your dashboard and click on the cogwheel and click on backup now, and that will give you a new backup, not a full backup, an incremental backup, remember, so it will happen very quickly so that you can then carry on working on your website without having any lag. But here you will see more than one restore point, and that's great because you're able to restore if anything happens. So let me just click on this restore point here and just show you what happens. When you click on the restore point, you have 2 options. You can restore the website to this point, or you can restore to staging, because this plugin, this solution, is not just a WordPress backup solution, but it's also a staging solution. So you can create a staging website and test changes there, but I'll get to that in a moment. Now let me mention one thing. Let's say that you're updating your website, you're updating some plugins, and you get the white screen of death. That's happened to us all at some point. Well, if you're using a free backup plugin, then if you lose access to your website, you lose access to your plugin. So it's not possible to do a restore using your plugin. So you have to start again in some cases. Now, even with paid plugins, if the plugin works locally, which most do, then you have the same problem. But with WP Time Capsule, you have your plugin locally on your website, but you also have the dashboard. So if the worst were to happen to your website, you could always log into your dashboard here, click on the cog and click on restore. And that is worth paying for. Trust me, from somebody who has hosted hundreds of websites and lost a few and had to start again, that is priceless. And in fact, you don't need to have hosted many sites. You only need to have one website to be able to appreciate how good that option is. Anyway, let's go back to the blog. And as I said, you can click on any restore point and restore the site or restore to staging first and make sure that everything's okay, and then push the changes from the staging site to the live site. Now, let me show you what happens inside the plugins screen. You can see here that I have some plugins that are actually out of date that need updating. Now, watch this. Under the plugin, you see a new link called WPTC Rollback. You have your deactivate and settings links, which are the ones that you always see there, but you have a rollback, and that's fantastic because it means that if you update a plugin and it breaks for whatever reason, you can click on the WPT rollback, WPTC standing for WP Time Capsule, of course. You can click on the rollback and roll back just that plugin instead of having to roll back the entire website. I think that is a really nice touch. Now, watch this. Here, where it says update the plugin, you have an update now or update in staging. Okay, so what this means is that you can create a staging website, which is a copy of your website in a different folder, and then do all these updates on the staging website only, which you can then check to see if everything is okay. And if it is okay, then you can push those changes from the staging website to the live website. That's fantastic. That's a really, really cool feature. Also, you can select all the plugins and just click on update in staging, and it will do that in bulk. And that's why I think this is the best WordPress backup plugin solution. So if you click on WP Time Capsule and click on billing, you'll see that the freelancer plan, which I am on, gives me the ability to back up to 10 websites. That costs $99 a year. It's well worth the price. I'll put a link in the description to WP Time Capsule. I think it's the best backup solution for WordPress, and it might just help you out. And if you enjoy this kind of video, then please make sure you subscribe, and that way we can keep in touch and I can keep you posted every time there's a great new tool to report on. But in the meantime, take it easy, and I shall see you in the next video.